Hi everybody, my name is Bo and I'm a student at the University of Texas at Austin, and today I have something really cool to show everybody. There have been many antenna designs for wireless that have showed up on YouTube. Some of them are like the Pringles can antenna, and some of them are the Yagi antenna, and all of these antennas that you can make by yourself just buying some simple parts from Home Depot have one problem with them. They require you to spend something like $30 to $50, and their performance is really narrow. As in, if you have the incorrect measurements by as much as a few millimeters or half a millimeter, you might end up with a directional antenna that actually gets better omnidirectional performance. So what this thing right here is, it's an amplifier that amplifies the signal strength of an existing antenna. And so far I've seen no videos about the performance of these things. Basically, I run a hotspot from my apartment, and with this, and combined with this 8 dBi antenna, I can reach as far as 3 apartments down and still get a reliable signal. So one thing I wanted to go over was the difference between a standard antenna like this dipole antenna versus something like this. What the biggest difference is that these type of antennas can handle much more power, and because they're larger, the proportions of the antenna tend to be closer to what they naturally should be. Obviously, if you have an antenna this small, it's very difficult to ensure precision of the dimensions of the antenna and get consistency. So when you're adding an amplifier such as this one with a bigger antenna such as this one that can handle much more wattage, what you're really increasing is the reliability of the coverage, as in you get less drop signals and you get disconnected far less. So a little bit about this amplifier. So again, this is the 1-watt amplifier for Wi-Fi signals. It comes with standard cables that you can connect to any router, such as actually any router with a reverse polarity SMA connector or TNC connector. So these are the very standard connectors that are on virtually all routers with removable antennas. And so again, I stress that this is a 1-watt amplifier, which is typically 10 to 20 times greater power than a standard home router. So what this means is that you're not actually going to get 10 to 20 times the range, but because the antenna actually produces a donut-shaped radiation pattern, so it's 3-dimensional. So the actual range that you're going to get from using this thing is the cube root of 10 to 20. So a little bit over 2, but less than 3. So it's a major improvement, but what this really does is it increases the reliability of connections that are mid-distance. For example, I can cover this entire complex right now with this amplifier, and people are not getting drop signals anymore. So the reliability of the link within your average distance improves drastically. After using this thing, within 2 apartments down, I'm getting a full strength bar as opposed to 3 bars and sometimes bouncing around to 2 bars. So again, this works best with B technology because B is less sensitive to noise. So you can buy this item from wifi-link.com, and it's slightly under $100, and it's the lowest price that you can pay for something of this caliber performance and yet reliable and easy to install. Again, it comes in a box something like this, and it has all the wires and connectors that you need, and it even comes with its own antenna. So one last thing I wanted to go over was, what's the difference between getting this power booster and getting a larger antenna? Idealistically, you want to do both, because getting a high power amplifier with a bad antenna would not be optimal, and the same would be true if you were to have just your standard router with a very powerful antenna. It wouldn't propagate enough current through the antenna to actually be worthwhile. You would end up getting more loss from the cable than anything. So if you happen to get a combination of both, what would happen is that your signal will be less susceptible to interference. For example, you can see why that if your power wasn't high enough and you have a large antenna, you might end up being interfered by noise much greater than the signal that you're broadcasting. So again, getting an amplifier would do the most for blocking out other interference, and on the contrary, you might actually be interfering with other people's signals because of how much stronger your signal is compared to theirs. I live in an apartment complex with at least 20 different signals, and they've saturated almost every single channel. And for me to be able to get a reliable signal in this environment is within 2 apartments distance is absolutely spectacular. So I hope you guys all try this out if you're not getting the signal that you want, and please leave me feedback. Thank you.